Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's video is part 2 or the rest of my reading journal setup. I'll link the first video down below in case you missed it. Anyways, I'm making 2 more yearly spreads. The first one I have seen a couple people do. It's a pages read tracker. I'm drawing 12 open books, one for each month. I did mess up the lines a little. Rows 2 and 4 are 1 dot taller than the other rows, but since I accidentally made a pattern, I could just pretend it was on purpose. So then I'm using my stamps to label each book with a month. I fully expect to read pages in the thousands, so the line down the middle leaves enough space for 2 numbers to fit on each page. I'll show an example of that later in the video. To decorate the pages, I used some washi tape and a butterfly I printed out. I don't show this in the video, but I decorated earlier spreads with more printed out butterflies. Moving on to the next spread, I'm making a reading bucket list. It's essentially a goals page, but for some reason, I really don't like goals pages. I feel like goals are more serious and restrictive, whereas bucket lists are more casual and are things you want to do instead of things you feel you need to. I'm probably making that up. I'm definitely making that up, but I'm sure someone out there agrees with me. Anyways, this book is the first thing I've actually sketched in this journal. It's very basic, but I like the simplicity of it. I'm using color pencil to outline and color it in so it doesn't lose that look of being sketched. Around it, I wrote some bucket list items and I leave space so I can add more. The list is to read more books from my nook, read with rain in the background with candles, kind of an aesthetic thing, go to the book barn, which is a really cool used bookstore in my state, find a good place to read outside, find a new bookstore to explore, read all 12 books on my 1 a month spread, continue making YouTube videos all year, and to purposefully read 2 books outside of my comfort zone. Then I'm just decorating the page with some ripped up scrapbook paper, pictures I printed out, and some washi tape. This next page is the beginning of my January spread. I wanted to keep it really simple since it's already February and I'm behind. I have more ripped up paper, stamps, washi tape, and a quote from Beatrix Potter that says, "I do so hate finishing books. I would like to go on with them for years." I can really relate to this quote. There's many book series where I haven't read the last book or I procrastinated reading it because I didn't want the story to end more than I was curious how it ended. I also reread some books with the hopes of re-entering the world the book and I created. I really don't know why I struggle with scissors so much. Anyways, on the next page, I make a section for my monthly stats where I'll keep track of the books I read, how many of these were for work or for fun, and how many pages I've read. I did fill this out here and on my yearly spread since January is over. Then I used stamps to make the headers and started filling out the books I've read in January with a few sentences for a review and a star rating at the end. I'm showing how each book is going to be tracked in the yearly spreads as well. For color coding, I chose 8 genres that I usually read and assigned them a color. So mystery/thriller is red, contemporary romance is pink, paranormal is purple, business is green, obviously, psychology or self-help books are brown, sci-fi/fantasy are yellow, fiction is blue, and nonfiction is orange. The second book is To Love Again by Bertrice, and it actually won Favorite Book of the Month for me. I highly suggest reading it if you're into historical romances. Also, I have no clue why I wrote those titles on different pages of my bookshelf. I do it again later in the video, and I still have no clue. The next 3 books are all psychology books. I ended up reading 4 psych books this month, which is a little unusual, but not unwelcome. I actually have a degree in English and psychology, so if you're reading these reviews and I sound pretentious, that's why. Sorry. So out of the 4 psych books, I suggest Pattern Seeker, How Autism Drives Human Invention by Simon Baron-Cohen. It's a really good read, and it changes the stigma around autism. Book 6 in yellow I also highly recommend. It's called The Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. It's a YA sci-fi LGBTQ book. I think it's a really great book for teens and young teens who are trying to find themselves. It's the first book I've read where the main character is asexual and aromantic. It also has robots and magic. This was a close runner-up to Favorite Book of the Month, but I'm a loyalist to historical romances. I'll list all the books I mentioned by title in the description below. For the brackets, my worst book this month was All the While by Gina Azzi, I think you say it. I don't know how to say her last name. It was just a stupid romance with bad writing and plot holes. I'll list this one too, in case bad romances is someone's favorite genre. I mean, I love bad movies like Sharknado, so I understand. Moving on from January is my February spread. I printed out this word cloud of I love you in many different languages, and I have the quote, "Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same," by Emily Bronte in Wuthering Heights. Anyone else forced to read Wuthering Heights when you were like 14? I was way too young to read at the level that book demanded. Maybe I should read it again, give it another try. I'm making another stats section, followed by a list of books I'm reading in February. I don't fill it out in this video because I didn't want to be too repetitive and boring. I also made a page for quotes where I expect February to end. I wanted to include that in this video, but I forgot. Here is one more flip through so you can see all the butterflies I've added and the yearly spreads partially filled out. I know that the timing of my videos haven't made the most sense since most people make their journal setups in early January or even late December, but I'm trying to catch up. Hopefully the timing on my next video makes more sense. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.